Last call for Fun in Space. It's Roger Taylor, Fun in Space, next on Crown Jewels. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to PLD Products Presents Crown Jewels. I'm your host, PLD, and we are closing out Roger Taylor's Fun in Space album this week on the podcast where I take you through the entirety of the Queen catalog and the solo catalog, going through all the versions of the song, trying to figure out which is the best or titular crown jewel version of each song to slide into our ultimate playlist. Give you some notes and quotes if I have them. List to all the versions, and then we decide also whether it slips into my top 10 Queen related tracks of all time. This one, well, it's another case of, like most of Roger Taylor's solo album debut, we only have the one album track. That's it. No live versions are available, no demos, no nothing. We just got the album track, which makes the selection of what is the crown jewel version, what's the best version to put into our ultimate playlist, pretty easy. It's this one or nothing. But we can still listen to it. We can still talk about it a little bit. And we can always see maybe this is going to be the one that's going to slide into that top 10. We haven't had a Queen non-Queen track in the top 10 yet. Maybe this will be the one. Fun in Space, the titular song from the 1981 album, written by Roger Taylor, features Roger on vocals, guitars, bass, drums, keyboards, and also features David Richards on additional keyboards. And I don't have any notes or quotes from it. I also am not going to talk much about it till we hear it. I want you to listen to it first with an open mind, and then you can go back and talk about it. How are we going to listen to it? Well, I'm not going to get copyright strikes here. What I'm going to do, point you in the direction of my show notes. On the show notes, I will have a Google Doc. On that Google Doc will be linked to the YouTube version of the version we're going to listen to, which, like I said, is the album version. So why don't we do that now? You can pause me, go listen to the track, come back and unpause me, and we'll talk about it. Strangers in a strange land. And there you have it. That closes out Roger Taylor's Fun in Space album with the titular track Fun in Space. Sounds like it's right out of Flash Gordon, doesn't it? I really think a lot of this album was developed alongside the Flash Gordon soundtrack. While Brian finished up the production, I think Roger went off and finished up his solo album. A lot of similarities to those tracks. A lot of synthesizers being used, little drony synthesizers. There's a lot of phasing and panning throughout. Got a lot of vocal effects and harmonies. Roger has always been one to go nuts on the vocal effects. I've mentioned that before. To my chagrin, a little bit, honestly. I think he does overdo it sometimes. He has such a great voice. I don't know why he feels the need to cover it up. In this track, it makes sense, though. He's trying to make it sound very alien, very out of this world, so to speak. So I kind of get it here, so I'll let that one pass, I guess. It does feel like what it feels like to me is this great, like, nighttime song. You put it on, it's dark out, it's at midnight, maybe you had a candle on, you're just chilling. Maybe you've had a nice edible or something, and you just want to kind of chill on the couch and open up your mind. Maybe that's what it works best for. I'm not sure. I've never tried it myself. But maybe I should. I love the fact that it kind of keeps going. The whole song, it just kind of keep rolling along. It starts with that doom doom, not like fast, because the tempos never really changes. It stays one tempo. Unlike a lot of Queen tracks, which bounce all over the place, this guy just stays in the same tempo, but it keeps rolling. It never really stops. You just got that keep doom 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 doom. It gets slowly trippy along as we go. They play again with the harmonics there, the smile on your face, big like low voice he has, it coupled in with the slight dissonant harmonies on the boy when we get there, we'll have fun in space. And the song feels like it keeps raising higher and higher, kind of like soaring like a spaceship to the sky. I think it's very meant to be that way. About 3 minutes in, it kind of gets a little Pink Floydish, maybe a little David Bowie-esque a little bit. Roger's definitely been a big fan of David Bowie and friends with David Bowie. Obviously, that will come into fruition during the next album, and throughout the rest of his career. He's never hid the fact that he's a big fan of Bowie. That kind of has a little bit of a Bowie-esque sound to it, of course. Starman himself. That makes a lot of sense. The one little, drawback to the track, it does get a little bit repetitive. It starts kind of droning on and on. They kind of repeat the same thing, kind of gets somewhere, and it kind of just starts all over again. So it can drone on a little bit long. It is over 6 minutes long, so it kind of like that. At some points, kind of okay. Well, what we got there, we get the point, kind of thing. I mean, I guess that droniness has its don't know, it has a purpose, I guess, to it. It's just kind of that's the way it is. About 4 minutes in, we get some more sound effects, a few lasers going on, and it starts this kind of long journey to the end where finally the drums give out, or the drum percussion kind of gives out. And we just have this very drony ending and kind of finishes up the album really. Much different track than the rest of the album, I gotta be honest. A lot of the album is pretty much, straightforward rock or rock and roll, a few ballads here and there. It does go a little sideways sometimes, like, Interlude in Constantinople. This is definitely the most different, and I understand why it's the title track in a way, because it does have a kind of epic sound to it, an epic feel to it. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about it. What do you guys have to say about it? Do you guys like this track? Is this your favorite on the albums? Do you skip it? Do you not want to listen to it because it drones on a little bit? Let me know in the comments. But like I said, I mean, I can't say anything else about what the crown jewel is because it's going to be this version. We only have this version. It's been an easy, makes it for an easy podcast when I have only one version to talk about it, but it does kind of defeat the purpose, right? But what can I do? Well, I can move on and we can rate Son of a Bitch. That's what we can do. I always rate these songs on a scale of 1 to 11 here on PLD Projects. We always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects. And on this one, I'm going to give this one a solid 7.5, I think. It's not one of my favorite tracks on the album. I do respect, I have a lot of respect for it. I do think it has its place. I do think if you're in the right mood, it can be a great track. The repetitiveness does bring it down a little bit for me. It does get a little bit samey, drony. That's the purpose, though. It's like it's meant to be drony. So your miles may vary. Maybe it's something that you would absolutely love. In the right mood, I've really been known to love it, but now there's times I've been like kind of like, let's just skip to the end and get past it and move on to the next one. But 7.5. So I guess that means it does not slide into my top 10 Queen related tracks of all time because they're all 10.5 and higher. I gotta list those out soon. I'm not gonna do it this week, maybe next week. Because next week we are back to Queen proper, and we're probably gonna be getting back to some longer episodes instead of these 5 or 6 minute episodes we've had. Because the next track we have is Hot Space's Staying Power, the first track on 1982's Hot Space, one of the most divisive albums the band has. A lot of people have a lot of issues with this album. I understand those issues. I think it's gone from being really hated to sometimes a little underrated, perhaps. Or to get into it, Staying Power, though, we have a lot of versions to listen to. We got the album track, and we got the demo track, we got the remix track, we got the live versions. A lot of versions to listen to, so it's tailor-made for this podcast. Thank you so much for sticking around. And if you could, please like, subscribe, leave comments, do all that stuff. Help us fight the evil algorithm. We really do appreciate that. I do have a Patreon at patreon.com/PLD Projects or a YouTube membership where you get early versions, or at least early access to these episodes. I try to give these pretty in bulk if I can, especially when I only have 5 or 6 minute episodes. So you get to get those 4, maybe even 5 weeks in advance at times. Even the bigger episodes, at least we'll try to get a week before potentially. But if you can't help me that way, I understand. I fully understand. It's tough times out there. Any little thing you can do to help would be greatly appreciated, though. And like I said, next week we're back to Queen proper with the Hot Space album. I guess that's it, guys. I hope you too have had fun in space.